content over everything. Oh, actually, going to take this perspective.
Yeah, must put it next to that.
John, debate is a very hostile word. Yes.
Sorry.
Let's call it dialogue. We can start
in the pack debate, like we done back in the
No, we can actually start something historic.
We try now.
We can start something historic.
The thing that I don't like is even that I like it, but I don't want it to be theoretical. I want it to be practical. When we say it, I don't want to come next week on the internet and then people acting funny. It needs to be consistent. You get it?
Yeah.
So I'm happy that someone like I'm happy it's you here by yourself. At least there's no people coming in and causing problems. It's you. We can just it's not an issue.
Yeah, I don't.
Are you with me? It's when other people get involved, we have issues.
And I will request from the audience, for those who are listening or those who are here, they don't intervene.
Yes.
Yeah. Because what happens is when people start intervening, it turns into a fish market.
Yeah, now Adnan, one thing in terms of
That's why I pulled you out.
No, that was a smart thing to do.
Yeah,
now, in regards to the people recording and stuff, it's not like I know I spoke to Coventry earlier and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of channels, that I know we discussed this before. I've got to keep saying it. You know, sometimes you have to reiterate.
Yeah.
Is that when they record, they disrespect.
Okay.
So
By the
titles and even by the commentary, like
you see, that's the problem
this
is now.
This kind of nastiness. I just want, like, if you're gonna record, I have no issue recording. But can we please?
I
just
have very limited control. I have control.
No, but people respect you, Adnan. If you say to them now, say, listen, I'm telling you.
I don't know why people keep saying that I am.
No, but you're someone.
I'm the imam of the park. I'm not.
I'm not imam, but Cholo, you're someone here, innit? So the point is, if you say to them, listen, when you record.
No, I'm not.
Look at your job, look at your job, man.
I refuse to accept that badge or that title.
Yeah, so
no, because I'm not. Because there are some crazy people out here. You know, there are some people who need psychotherapy. Wallahi, I believe there are people in this park here. They are psychologically disturbed. Yeah, they need to be in the hospital, right? So I can't be responsible for people like that. No, I'm only responsible for my words.
But the Dawah channel is that, because remember, Islamically we say Dawah.
You should speak to them. You should speak to them.
I'm speaking to everyone that's recording me right now.
I've advised them.
If you're a Dawah channel, if you're not a Dawah channel, especially if you're a Dawah channel, please do Dawah properly with the right adab and akhlaq. Because if you're going to say the word Dawah, it's a big word, bro. It's not a small word.
You see, there are other channels, for example, they're using terms like Wahhabi hate preacher, owned by Shia or something like that. You know, we can't help that. I can't own that channel and say, listen, change that. Okay. Even that wording is insulting. So the point is, we can be responsible for our words, and how people choose to, put them out is up to them, because they are free to film.
Do we have all the agreement of everyone recording to keep it respectful?
Yes.
No, I think the video channel generally recording.
We will request.
It's just
I think we should start with our chat, and then let the people come, whoever you're waiting for. They'll come and join us. Let's sit down. Yeah. So I'm talking to.
Me?
Yes.
To me?
Yes. I want to
Why
talk
not
to
me,
you.
man?
There's a reason. There's a reason.
Is Arabic better?
Yeah. No. I choose him. I'll tell you why.
I'm his Khalifa. I wanted to step in.
Yeah, because he came up to me and he said, yeah.
What did I say?
This is nice.
Yeah. But Adnan, listen, I want one as well. Like send me one with.
No problem. No problem. So let's talk about our differences.
Is this chair right?
Yeah, go back a little bit, man. He's like around the Ahlulbayt. What's wrong with this chair? Get him some milkshake and ice cream.
No, this is fine. It's fine. No,
that's fine. One more.
Bring it. Yeah, that's fine. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala. Amma ba'd. Brothers and sisters, those of you who are watching, firstly, let me thank you all for watching, for giving your precious time to us. Secondly, we had our Shia brothers come to us in the park today. This is Sayyid Ali.
Sorry, my brother here, respected brother, he saw me. He said, he remembered my name straight away. He said, Sayyid, I want to speak to you. I said, okay, why not?
Exactly. Because he's a nice guy.
I didn't come hunting for him to speak to him.
No, he didn't. He did not. He came to the park, I saw him, and I said, I want to talk to you. Let's talk. Because I know I can talk to this person respectfully, right? What happens in Shia-Sunni discussions very often, unfortunately, discussions turn into insulting matches. There is a lot of abuse from both sides, sarcasm, unpleasant language. We don't want any of that. My view is that we can talk to each other, we can share our values, our views, and we can represent our respective theologies and disagree at the same time. Because obviously it is clear that the Shias and the Sunnis have a different epistemology. We have different sources. We have different understandings of the Quran, of the Sunnah, or even the concept of Sunnah, and even Allah, I would say. Okay, so we differ on major issues. That's why we are two different schools, right? So I want to have a chat with Sayyid Ali today about these things, possibly for an hour or two, hopefully in a very cordial fashion. And I will request from the audience, those who are watching, just listen carefully and not intervene, because obviously we don't need intervention. We are representing ourselves. I'm representing myself. Sayyid Ali is representing himself. Let us talk to each other in a friendly way, and each other will take it from there. That's it. So, what do you have to say, Sheikh? Okay, that's it. So, no problem. Sheikh is the title of
Leave the
this
sheikhs
event.
alone.
So one of the major issues we have is the Shia brothers around the world, scholars in particular, they claim that they are the true followers of the Ahlulbayt, right? And this is a concept, or this is a notion we have a problem with as Sunnis. We believe that that's not true. The Shias are not actually following the Ahlulbayt. They are actually following the ones who attributed information to the Ahlulbayt. Because the Ahlulbayt never came to the Shia community in person, the community we know today, and taught them anything, right? The information that is attributed to the Imams came via chains of narrations. And these chains must be scrutinized. Likewise for us Sunnis. So when we look at the chains, we the Sunnis in particular, we see problems. We see people in the chains who cannot be telling the truth.
We have the same problem, by the way.
No problem.
Yeah, we have the same issue.
I understand. So this is one of the reasons. So let's talk about this, that are the Shias actually following the Ahlul Bayt? I'm saying we the Sunnis, who are the majority in the world, currently speaking, we are the true followers of the Ahlul Bayt because we have authentic information attributed to them. Okay? And our information can be authenticated 100%. While with the Shia school, unfortunately, we think that's not possible.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, well, firstly, I would have to say that with respect to this big brother here, he's totally false. When we talk about the Ahlul Bayt, obviously we need to define who they are. We understand that you include the wives of the Prophet within the category of the Ahlul Bayt. We have a different interpretation. We're not going to discuss that. But if we're going to primarily stick on who follows the Ahlul Bayt, then I would like to demonstrate 3 simple examples today, which proves that you do not take your religion from Ahlul Bayt. The first one is the fact that you guys do not read Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. You do not believe it to be part of the Holy Quran. So when you look at the Holy Quran, you open it out, you look at the first verse, Surah Fatiha, you do not include Surah Fatiha to be the first, Surah Fatiha, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim to be the first verse. And this was the belief of the Ahlul Bayt, to believe Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim was part of the Quran, and it was the belief of Ali ibn Abi Talib. The next point is when it comes to the issue of Salah. The Ahlul Bayt used to read Hayya ala khair al-amal, okay? Whereas you guys, with the Sunni brothers, they read Hayya ala khair al-minno, okay? And again, this is the second example. A third example is the issue, for example, of Taraweeh. We just come from the holy month of Ramadan. Some of your scholars, like Imam Shukani, clearly mentioned in his book, Nail al-Altar, he says that Ahlul Bayt consider Taraweeh to be a bid'ah. So I would like to know what aspect of the Ahlul Bayt do you follow? Do you follow them on Tawheed? Because they definitely do not share the same opinions as you do. They don't follow. They don't have the same belief as you on the issue of Isma. They don't have the same issue on the matters of fiqh. Your own scholars have admitted themselves that when it comes to the Ahlul Bayt, the Shias are very exclusive of following them on these particular issues. So you can go ahead.
Thank you for that, Sayyid Ali. The issue is we're not discussing certain theological points or positions, because if we start doing that, then we will be discussing the entirety of Al-Kafi and Al-Bukhari and Sahih Muslim.
No problem.
That's absurd. That's impossible to do in this short sitting. What we're discussing is the actual concept of the Ahlul Bayt and how do we follow them, the epistemology.
Okay.
Epistemology means the theory of knowledge. How do we actually reach certainty? How do we know what we are taught in the name of the Ahlul Bayt is actually true?
Yeah.
was actually taught by the Ahlul Bayt? That's a very important question, and this is what I want to address.
Sure.
Instead of going into certain reports of Al-Kafi, Man La Yahdur Al-Faqih, Al-Istibtar, or Al-Tahdhib, 4 books, or our 6 books, will be here for another year, easily, right? So we should avoid discussing that. What we should focus on is the concept. How do we actually know that these teachings that are attributed to the Ahlul Bayt are actually from the Ahlul Bayt? Right. So you mentioned things like, who are the Ahlul Bayt, for example. Let's assume, for the sake of the discussion, we say the Ahlul Bayt are the ones you choose.
Yes.
Okay. As Sunnis, we have a view of the Ahlul Bayt. We have a comprehensive view. Quranically, we know the Ahlul Bayt are primarily the wives. And that's another discussion. It's a very deep discussion. It is based upon the Quran. The verses of Surah Al-Ahzab from verse 30 to 34, when you read these 4 verses in context, you get to realize that the wives are definitely, by default, Quranically, are the Ahlul Bayt.
See, we now, have sorry, just a quick point, Obviously he's stating the Sunni position, but the Shia have a different opinion about this, because when we look at the verse, and again, we're not debating this particular verse here, when we mention the word, if we look at the Arabic, it mentions the word rijis, and Allah talks about different types of rijis, okay? One of the types of rijis is what a woman has on a monthly basis, for example. This is also regarded as rijis. And we know the wives of the Prophet suffered from rijis. So therefore, we would automatically exclude them when Allah says He removes all rijis from them. So let's not discuss Ayat al-Tahid. Let's stick to. Okay, so what you're trying to say is that how do we?
But the Quran is not talking about that rijis.
Okay, we can.
I agree with you.
Okay,
the Quran is not talking about monthly cycles. Quran is not addressing that, because how do we know what the Quran is talking about? By reading the 4 verses,
right,
from 30 to 34.
Sure.
When you read, Allah is talking about spiritual purity. Allah is talking about spiritual uprightness.
Right.
Be upright, straighten your voice, do not talk to people in soft tone, lest there is someone with a disease in the heart, he is inclined towards you. This is what Allah is talking about.
Way,
Allah wants to remove impurity from you.
Let's not forget who was around at the time when Allah also mentions, when you speak to the wives, speak to them behind the veil. And which is interesting, because it goes into another topic of the term al-Mu'mineen, the mothers of the believers. And as we know from Islam, a mother is not required to do hijab from their children, which proves that al-Mu'mineen is just exclusive to the issue of marriage. But anyway, so what you're saying is, brother, is that how do we establish whether or not the information that has come to us is from the Ahlul Bayt? So, we would say that when it comes to our books of hadith, many of these reports have been mass transmitted to us. These reports have been mass transmitted to us, and we accept them. The issue is not whether or not the reliability of these reports, because even now I can present to you a Sahih tradition which may go against what you believe, but you won't accept it because it's a Shia tradition. Likewise, you will present something to me from your books that could well easily have a Sahih standard, but I will not accept it because it's your book. Do you understand? So if we want to talk about how do we understand what information has reached us, I'd say through tawatur and mutawatir reports that has been passed down from one generation to the next.
Thank you for that. You see, I am not going to give you reports from, for example, Abu Huraira, or from Umar. We hardly have any, right? Or from,
Abu Huraira, you do.
Abdullah bin Umar. Umar. I said Umar. We hardly have any.
No, Abdullah bin Umar. He's the biggest narrator.
No, Umar. Abdullah bin Umar is the biggest, one of the biggest.
Yes.
So I said about Umar that we hardly have any, right? So Abdullah bin Umar, Abu Huraira, you don't accept them.
No.
Okay. So I'm talking about.
No, so we can accept them. We can accept them within certain conditions.
Okay.
If they fulfill certain conditions, we can accept reports.
Even Abu Huraira?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, of course.
Is he not?
Button-wise.
No. Do you accept reports from disbelievers, munafiqun?
No. Okay, now hold on. Wait 1 second. Okay, wait 1 second. It's a good, valid question.
Yeah.
Valid question. The brother said that do we accept reports from munafiqun? Well, it depends who you define as munafiqun, because the nawasib, by definition, by default, were munafiqs because they kept the hatred of Imam Ali alayhi salam in the heart. You have narrated from nawasib narrators, so I could very easily ask you, do you take from munafiqs?
No, we don't.
We're not going to do.
But,
you do nawasib.
No, wait. Nawasib.
Even from Kharji.
I know who you're talking about. I know you're talking about Marwan.
No, I'm not talking about Marwan.
You're
I can give you traditions. I can mention now 33 narrators from Bukhari and Muslim at least, or within the 6 books, who were known Nawasib. Okay? For example, interestingly, the son of Abu Huraira, who is called Bilal ibn Abu Huraira, who fought against Mawla Ali in Safin, was defined as a Nawasib, and he was also a companion of the Prophet.
Now, this question again goes back to our science of hadith. Our muhaddithin have studied these accusations. Certain individuals were accused of certain things by certain later authorities. So what did our muhaddithin do? They scrutinized every single one of these accusations. For example, Ikramah. Ikramah.
Kharji.
Exactly. Ikramah was accused of being a Kharji. Ibn al-Hajar al-Asqalani.
He was a Kharji, but not accused.
Wait. Again, if you want to go into that discussion whether he was a Kharji or not, we're going to be here for another maybe
couple of days.
The principle you brought of the Nawasib, the one that's actually agreed that is a Nawasib. Talk about that with those.
Yeah.
So Ibn al-Hajar al-Asqalani, in his Muqaddamah of Sahih al-Bukhari, he writes an entire chapter on Ikramah. And he brings in every single accusation and dismantles it. And he gives his reasons as to why he doesn't believe Ikramah, Ibn al-Hajar al-Asqalani in his Muqaddamah. Okay? So all of these accusations, we have scrutinized them. Now, amazingly,
by the
what
way,
Ashia brothers failed to do.
I'm talking about the ones who your scholars of Ilm al-Rijal, like Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, al-Mizzi, Zahabi, all these scholars confirmed that these individuals were Nawasib, the Nasbis, and the narrators within the 6 books of Hadith.
Yes, and I'm not denying that. There's certainly.
So then it comes back to your point. Do you accept from Munafiqs? I can ask you the same question.
Okay, no. First of all, you see, anyone who's a Nasibi, okay, was declared to be a Nasibi in the Sunni school, right? It was clear that this person was a hater of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Or he was someone who used to curse Ali ibn Abi Talib. Or he was known to have used bad language with Ali ibn Abi Talib. And for that reason, we have rejected certain people to be authorities for us in deen. We do not take our deen from certain people.
But you do.
Likewise, in Sahih al-Bukhari, you will see certain people with tashayyu.
Yes.
In the chains. So our Shia brothers will always point to the Nasibis.
They're not tashayyu according to us, by the way.
Yeah. Tashayyu, what do we mean by tashayyu? These people, some of them, they actually preferred tafdiliya. They actually preferred Ali either over Abu Bakr and Umar or Uthman. Okay, so Imam Bukhari never took hadith from a Kufi who was known to be a Rafidi. Okay, someone who was into cursing the Sahaba. Okay, or anyone like that. Someone
But they took narrations from Kharji and Nasbis who fought against Amir al-Mu'mineen and used to curse him.
Okay, now fighting against Amir al-Mu'mineen. Okay, this is another very good question. Is fighting against Ali ibn Abi Talib tantamount? Is it tantamount? Tantamount to being a Nasibi? No, we don't accept that. No, because Allah says in the Quran very clearly that when 2 groups of believers, mu'mineen, Allah uses the word, when 2 groups of believers fight each other, make up between them. It is very possible for believers to fight, to have a war. Let me finish. Let me say something.
What's going on there?
Don't worry about that. So it is possible. Now we believe Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu was a believer. He was Amir al-Mu'mineen. He was the leader of believers. Karamallahu wajh. Alayhi salam. Alayhi salam.
By the way, that's good. I'm glad he said alayhi salam. This is evidence that using alayhi salam is permitted, and there's a difference of opinion within Sunni ulama as well.
I believe those who argue against this are fools.
Okay, so
they don't know what alayhi salam means. They simply don't know. The problem is the Arabic language. They don't know what alayhi salam means. So anyone who argues alayhi salam upon all of them.
So my big brother Adnan said that in the Holy Quran, it says when 2 groups of Muslims fight, you must bring peace, and this is evidence that 2 groups of Muslims, meaning those who fought against Amir al-Mu'mineen, can be Muslim.
Believers, mu'min. They can be believers. Mu'mineen.
But this is not entirely honest from his side, whether or not he knows or not, right? Let me give you guys a little insight on this verse, okay? And remember this, and please go home, search this up. When this verse was revealed, okay, there were 2 groups of people during the time of the Holy Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him. One was an individual called Abdullah ibn Ubay, who was called the chief of hypocrites. Okay, from his camp, And from his camp, they fought. There was a fight. There was an ikhtilaf between a group of Sahaba and this a follower of Abdullah ibn Ubay. They had a little quarrel, argument. So what the Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, said: when two groups of believers fight, bring peace. Now, if you are saying that the term believer means that the person who leads the group is a Muslim, no, because otherwise it means that
mu'min.
A mu'min.
Yeah.
Mu'min, then it means that Abdullah ibn Ubay must be a mu'min.
No.
The chief of hypocrites.
No.
It came for him.
Well, wait. Let me explain.
Okay.
The Quran tells us there's a difference between mu'min and a Muslim.
Okay. No problem.
Allah never called a hypocrite a mu'min in the Quran.
He does,
Never,
actually,
never.
he does. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Holy Quran, when it comes to the mushrikeen women, it actually uses the word mu'mina. It says that when the believing women who were called, test them with their belief. In fact, I will show you from the Quran today that the term Muslim doesn't always mean that the person is a believer or a mu'min.
In the Quran, in the Quran.
But please answer Abdullah ibn Ubay, then we'll come to the verses.
Okay, in the Quran, let me explain something now.
Yeah.
When Islam and Iman are used in the same verse, right? These two mean two different things. But Iman as a term generally in the Quran, okay, when it's used, it can also mean Iman of the higher level, or it can also mean Islam, accepting Islam. For example, Allah says, وَقَالَتِ الْأَعْرَابُ آمَنَّا أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وقالت الأعراب آمنا. The Arab, the Bedouins of the desert, they say, we have believed. Allah says, no, you have not yet believed.
Yes.
You have only submitted. You have only become Muslim.
Yeah.
This is why this is a well-known reality in the Shia school. That
Which proves my point. That
wait.
okay.
Say it. Sayyid Ali.
Go on.
This is a discussion, man.
Go on.
Yeah. This is a well-known reality in the Shia school that they call the general Muslim population Muslims. Even the Sunnis are Muslims to the Shia.
Yes.
They are not mu'mins.
Yes.
They are not believers.
Yes.
People like me and 90% of the Muslims around the world are only Muslims. They're like the Arab. They haven't truly submitted. The real believers to the Shias are the Shias who actually believe in the Ahlulbayt and the teachings. This is and they're confirming this. Yes? So this is why I'm saying the Quran is not saying that about the two fighting groups.
Okay.
The Quran is actually saying they are believing groups.
Yes, it does. Let me read you the hadith.
Yeah.
Let me read you the hadith.
They have Iman.
Okay. Say
But
Bukhari.
then again, Sayyid Ali, we are again going off the epistemology.
We're coming back to
Let's
that.
come
We'll
back
come
to that,
back to that. But let me finish on this point. So, Brother Adnan mentioned that this verse, and if two groups of believers, mu'mineen, fall to fighting, then make peace between them.
Yes,
so what he
continue.
said was that those who fought Middle Mu'mineen alayhi salam were not kafir, because Allah says in the Quran two groups of Muslims can fight.
Do you believe they're kafar?
Wait, I'll get to that point.
No, but do you?
I'll get to that point.
Say yes or no?
So I'm gonna prove from his books today.
For fighting Ali bin Abi Talib was Aisha and
one
Muawiyah
second.
and the other Sahaba were the kafar?
We will come to that. Yeah, according to your principles. So let's go to your most authentic book collection, Bukhari, to look at the tafsir of this verse about two groups of believers fighting. And it was said to the Prophet, narrated Anas, it was said to the Prophet, would that you see Abdullah ibn Ubay. So the Prophet went to him riding a donkey, and the Muslims accompanied him walking on salty barren land. When the Prophet reached Abdullah ibn Ubay, the latter said, keep away from me. By Allah, the bad smell of your donkey has harmed me. Astaghfirullah. On that, the Ansari man said to Abdullah, by Allah, the smell of your donkey of Allah's messenger is better smell than you. On that, from that two men abused each other, which caused friends of the two men to get angry, and two groups started fighting with sticks, shoes and hands, like what you see in the park sometimes. Yeah? Okay. Then it was said, this verse was revealed, and if two groups of believers failed fighting, then make peace between them. So say Bukhari, volume 3, book 49, hadith 856.
Thank you.
So this demonstrates that
this?
if we accept that the term believer always means believer, we have to accept Abdullah ibn Ubay and his supporters were believers.
No. Wrong.
Prove it, refute me.
I'll tell you why.
Refute me.
Here, Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul. This man was a clear-cut munafiq. We know that.
He's called a Muslim.
But those who know the history of Medina, they also know that Medina was inhabited by 2 tribes.
By the way, he was such a big hypocrite. The Prophet read his salam,
I-
funeral prayer, and he gave him
I
his
agree,
shirt.
I agree. We believe he was Raisul Munafiqeen. We are the ones, our sources tell you that these were the Raisul Munafiqeen. Okay. Now the issue is,
Your sources say he was a Muslim as well.
Anyone.
A moment.
Wait.
Quran says.
Yeah. I can give you a better example.
No problem.
The issue of, accusing of Aisha.
If.
Right?
You're talking about
Right.
if.
Yeah, if.
Which
Yes,
the Sahaba
yes,
started,
yes,
by the way.
yeah.
As the brother knows, the Badri Sahaba were amongst those people who accused Aisha of this act first. It was the Sahaba.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
not Sahaba, one.
One
No,
Sahaba.
be careful.
There was
Badri.
Badri Sahaba.
Of course, Badri. And how do we know he's Badri? Because when his mother cursed him,
Yes.
and then Aisha heard it, and she said, he's Badri. How can you say that about him? So Aisha is telling us that. So don't say Sahaba, because that makes it look
There was
bad.
actually.
That be
no,
careful
there
with
was
the language. I'm
There
very
was
careful
three.
with the language.
There was 3, bro. There was
Yeah.
3 people.
Yeah, Hassan bin Thabit.
Yeah, so it wasn't just
Abdullah
one.
bin Ubay. Okay, now
It wasn't just one.
amazingly.
Okay, let's not go-
Wait.
let's not discuss
No.
if.
I'm trying to dismantle.
Let's not discuss
I'm
if.
trying to dismantle.
Let's stick-
Look,
listen,
of course,
listen,
but let me dismantle your point.
Basically, come
That
back
your
to your
understanding
point.
is incorrect.
Do we take our narrations from the
I'm
Ahlul
asking
Bayt?
the argument.
No,
or do
but
we
now
take it-
you raise
Go on.
question
Go
that
on,
you
go
want.
on, please.
I should be able to respond.
Please.
Ibn Salul was a munafiq, clear cut, everyone knew. Hassan bin Thabit was not. The Badri Sahabi was not. And the other, the woman who was lashed. So there were certain companions who were actually lashed by the Prophet ﷺ.
Yeah.
Right? Ibn Salul was part of the accusation. He was not lashed. He was not punished. Because he was already out as far as the Prophet ﷺ was concerned. So this shows that being part of a conspiracy or being part of a group doesn't necessarily mean that every single individual is of the same view or of the same status. So the example you gave from Bukhari actually dismantles your own argument.
Okay, how?
Right? We're not saying that those groups who fought each other from the Ansar, Aus and Khazraj, were actually munafiqeen. One was clear-cut, confirmed munafiq, Ibn Salul. The rest were not munafiqeen. So your application of the verse or your interpretation of the verse based upon a Bukhari report is completely flawed.
Okay,
I'm
wait,
sorry.
hold on one second,
So
one second.
now coming back,
No,
now you want to come
how's
back.
it flawed?
Yeah.
Wait, how's it flawed? Look,
Now
the
you wanna
verse-
continue with
the
this?
Look, okay, look. There's 2 groups of people. One group from the Prophet's side. May peace and blessings be
No,
upon
it
his
wasn't like
family.
that.
I just read you the hadith.
No, it wasn't like. No,
I'll
no,
read you the
no,
hadith
no,
again.
no.
It's in the
Okay,
hadith.
Okay.
Go back to the hadith.
You
It says,
see-
listen,
no,
there was 2 groups of people. There was the group of the Sahaba with the Prophet who was with. Then there was a group of Abdullah ibn Ubay. They were hypocrites. Okay, those who followed Abdullah ibn Ubay were the Muslim or were the munafiqs as well.
Good question. Now.
Would you say?
I'll put a question back
Okay,
on you.
so
do you believe
listen.
Nahjul Balagha is an authentic?
What's Najr Balagha? No, I don't. I don't.
You
think
don't?
it's- No,
Okay.
I don't.
So all those curses of Ali bin Abi Talib radiallahu anhu.
Listen, we can come
upon
to
the
that.
people
Let's-
of Kufa. Wait.
let's not divert.
Wait. Look,
Yeah.
I'm trying to show you how flawed your reasoning is by your
Okay.
own sources, right? If you let me speak. In Nahjul Balagha, there are.
Imam Ali called them brothers.
No.
Go.
I'm not.
Okay, no problem.
Don't
Go.
jump the gun.
Okay.
Okay. Imam Ali radiallahu anhu stands on the member of Kufa and talks to his Shia. Shia to Ali. Who are these people? The people of Kufa.
Yeah.
And Imam Ali, what words does he use for them? You tell me. Go on.
I don't believe it to be authentic, so you'll have to tell me which
Okay.
sermon.
So why do you believe it's not authentic?
Because-
Which part of Nahjul Balagha is authentic and which is not?
Many parts of it are not authentic.
Which ones are authentic?
Well, we have to establish each individual tradition and sermon, and then we have to go back to the Sanadi.
So these ones where Imam Ali is actually, this is
I
by the
know-
way Shia book, Nahjul Balagha.
Yes.
And it is one of the major sources. The Shia community
Yeah.
loves this book.
Yeah.
It's very popular.
Yeah.
In there.
It's not included in our 4 major books.
No,
a
it's
book
not.
of
It's not.
eloquence. Yeah.
Absolutely, indeed, it's not. I never claimed that, right? So the point is, it is possible to be part of a group and be a munafiq, and the rest are not munafiq. That's the point I'm making. In Medina, there was a conflict between Aus and Khazraj. There were times. Thank you. There were times before. You want juice?
No, fine, no, you also.
There were times before the Prophet ﷺ came to Medina, there was a war between Aus and Khazraj. War. There was a huge war. And they were fighting each other and they were killing each other. One of the reasons the Prophet ﷺ came to Medina was to establish peace between them. But even after the Prophet had come, there was this hostility, tribal hostility in them. That's why Rasulullah ﷺ emphasized so much on Islamic brotherhood. And it was a process of teaching these people to become true Muslims in the sense that they should get this asabiyya out of their hearts. It is not Islam. So there were times when they actually fought each other, or they were nearly fighting each other, right? And that's why the Prophet ﷺ, this verse was revealed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that there are two groups of believers. They're believers. Aus, there are believers in Aus, there are believers in Khazraj, and when they fight each other, physically, they are believers. Try to make up between them. And if one is the aggressor, the verse continues, then fight against the aggressor. All of you Muslims get together, believers, fight against the group of aggressors who are also believers.
Okay, so what's that got to do with the verse in Abdullah ibn Ubay? Because they say there are two groups of believers.
But it's not helping you, Sayyid Ali. It's not helping you.
It does help
the interpretation, you're enforcing this interpretation on us.
I'm not forcing you.
Which
I'm not forcing you to
accept.
accept it. All I'm saying to you, look, it's quite clear that according to Bukhari, according to this tradition, there was two groups of people.
Aus and Khazraj.
No, this tradition.
Yes, Aus and Khazraj.
Yeah, Aus and Khazraj.
Yeah, Aus and Khazraj, yes.
So,
yes, I gave the context.
Yes.
Yeah.
So even collectively, we cannot claim that every individual who was would you say the followers of Abdullah ibn Ubay were believers or not?
Those who actually followed him in his nifaq were not believers, kuffar.
Okay.
But how can we know? Some of them.
What about the ones who didn't? As in, what about the ones
the ones who actually truly believed in the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
Right.
Okay. Were not munafiqun.
Okay, so in the same way...
They were believers.
They
were believers.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
So in the same way, when it comes to Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, why did you say that all those who fought against Amir al-Mu'mineen, we cannot call them to be kafirs?
Because Amir al-Mu'mineen never called them kuffar. That's my greatest evidence.
Right.
Ali bin Abi Talib,
right,
the man who was appointed by Allah,
yeah,
according to your understanding,
right,
God appointed Imam,
right,
successor of a prophet,
right,
okay, Ma'soom.
Yeah.
His job was to clarify the truth.
Right. And I can tell
and
you now,
all he had to say was,
right,
all he had to say, like I gave an example the other day. You know, let me finish,
okay,
and I'll argue. Yeah, that when we speak to Christians come to us and say Jesus is God. He is a prophet. He is a messenger. There are verses in the Gospel of Luke and in Matthew and Mark that he was a prophet. He was a messenger. But now the Christians are claiming he is also God. Okay? So we asked them to show us one statement where Jesus could have easily said, I am God, therefore worship me. Jesus had the time to go to the tree and curse the tree. Jesus had the time to call the Pharisees vipers, adulterers, hypocrites, liars. All of these things Jesus could easily say. Jesus could walk around and talk to people about a number of things, but all he couldn't do was make one statement. Likewise, Ali bin Abi Talib, he had the time to stand on the minbar and deliver khutbahs. He had all that time from the Quran, all of that. But he didn't have the time to make one statement that ladies and gentlemen, my followers, my Shia. Content over everything! Content over everything! From your belly!
Man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV.
They look like us.
Listen.
They walk around like us. Are you self-defense?
I'm far right and I'm violent.
Are you This is what the far right looks like. They look like us, but they will lie on bullshit. What he really wants is a world of hate and division, where Muslims are wrong, where Palestine is wrong,